Going for boost. Well, I think going for boost, if you're a boost merchant, like someone like AJ or someone, you go for boost.
100% of the time.
Yes.
Always, every second of every game. Ball's going in your net, don't worry about it. Go get the boost and make sure you've got the full 100 to celebrate with the other team.
Oh God. Never. Yeah, never. Always go for ball.
Yeah.
Number one rule of Rocket League.
Welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, where three aggressively average Rocket League players talk about everything RLCS with your hosts, Ace, Code Red Jack, Kyle Cube, and AJ Binky. So, if you've ever wondered when the best time to go for Boost Over Ball is, you've come to the right place.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first episode or if this is your 58th episode, thank you so much for listening. I'm Kyle K Cube, and today I'm here with Ace and AJ Binky. How are you guys doing, guys?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself, Mr. K Cube?
Living the dream every day. Get to talk about some more Rocket League stuff, which is always one of the highlights of my week. Ace?
I am spectacular.
Love to hear it.
Man. It's only Tuesday, right? That's how my week's been going. But I get, as you said, I get to talk about Rocket League, and is there a better game to talk about? I don't think so.
Yeah, but on today's episode, we'll be talking about some of the roster rumors, some of the rumors that have been confirmed, as well as additional rumors that have surfaced since the last time we recorded, as well as having kind of a discussion that the rest of the Rocket League community and the scene is having an open debate on about Rocket League in general and RLCS. So without further ado, we'll jump into some of the roster mania confirmations and rumors, and then we'll have like an overall conversation on thoughts about all the moves that have happened and everything going on. So, Ace, you want to take us away with the roster moves that have been confirmed?
Absolutely, I do. I was sitting on the edge of my seat waiting for you to ask. So, roster mania, here's what we have confirmed. You have Chicago, restricted FA, looking for a new team. G2 looks to be building around Atomic for next season. You have Koi dropping their entire roster. Kami retires. Daniel and Beast Mode are set to be put on the market by V1 as they try to figure out their RLCS futures. Com is already FA. Daniel is not quite there yet. Fireburner is also now FA. You have Justin as an unrestricted FA. Squishy, unrestricted FA. AJG is off of Complexity. And G1 is just gone. No more G1.
Yeah. After some of the rumors and thought and stuff coming out about G1 not paying their players and some of that stuff, I think that they made a pretty good decision in dropping their roster and maybe taking a step back, and they'll try and regroup for that one. But some more, kind of getting into some more rumors. I have Moist looking to build around Joyo for next season. Most notably, they still have Astral on their roster, but they're not going to be bringing back Astral, Juicy, or Cash. And also we have Oxygen looking to build around Archie and not Joria's, even though Joria's went Super Saiyan in Gamers 8. But Oxygen looking to build around Archie and potentially trying to bring in Oski from Team Liquid. So, I mean, we have like conversations in our Boost Over Ball Discord, which you guys are more than welcome to join. It's on our website. And we continue to it goes out in the episode description. But we continue to talk about how crazy this offseason has been. And it only seems to get more and more crazy as time goes on, as you hear more and more stuff coming out, shift reporting, some stuff that we hear from people that we know in the scene, and, stuff you see on Twitter or X or whatever the hell it is now. But how do you guys feel about everything we've heard and seen so far?
I don't know. I feel numb to it all at this point. Like, all I hear is just everything's changing. just constantly, and then you see all these rumors and stuff, and it's like, all right, well, everything's changing. So, I assume this is only the tip of the iceberg. I assume we're gonna have a lot to look forward to.
All right, so for me, I gotta say, I think this is exactly what we needed. I feel like we've had some rosters that have held on for far too long and have not shown great progress from it, and we've had other rosters that are constantly changing and also not showing much progress from it. I think that what we really needed, and I think that Vitality made that point very clearly, is a big change, right? And what's a bigger change than, as I return to my previous analogy of a boggle? This is a boggle tournament to see what new teams we can come up with. Um, so I like it. I think that it is kind of an interesting counterpoint with how much change and churn is happening in RLCS compared to how little is happening in the game. Um, so at least something isn't stale and crunchy.
Yeah, for sure. I think we'll talk about this more as we talk about Rocket League as a game and RLCS. But I think that the fact that there has not been an announcement yet for next RLCS season, I think kind of helps this whole process out. So I am very surprised at how much change is happening, though I don't think it's a bad thing like Ace, like you said, but I don't know that we've ever seen it to this extent before in the history of RLCS. So I think that like the extended period of off season will really allow a lot of different players and teams to try out different combinations to kind of see, what works for them and what doesn't. So I'm hoping that, this reshuffle, so to speak, of like seemingly every single major team making a change in NA, that maybe the cream will rise to the top, and something similar to like a rising tide raises all boats, so to speak, where you kind of get teams that may not necessarily be the three best players available, but are the three best players that work together. Like I know, like going back, I know that Ace, you and I were big fans of Reddles with Arsenal and Daniel. I thought that team was a lot better than they showed, and they made a big change, obviously, but you know, I think that like a fit like that would be something that you need to look for uh, from players and teams moving forward.
I mean, I have a I I don't know what I was about to say there. Oh, I was about to go on conspiracy theory, but we can deal with that nonsense in a moment. Another one of my crazy ideas, but I gotta say that like all of the change, it's a lot, but I think it's going to be pretty good overall. And as you said, this is the most change that we think we've ever seen. It's definitely the most change we've ever seen since this podcast existed, which is the beginning of time for anyone who cares. You guys just didn't know it yet. There's a conspiracy theory.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. All right, maybe I need more coffee. Maybe I hit myself on the head while I was muted. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, like I think it's all good. I think it's gonna turn out to be great in the long run. Um, I feeding into my conspiracy theory, kind of harkening back to that. I'm actually really curious, um, if maybe this is just like the writing on the wall. Did they all get a memo that said that there won't be another season because Rocket League 2 is coming out, so everyone's just closing down their shop to reopen? Could you imagine?
I hope so.
That would be kind of crazy.
There's like, you know what? After that, Vitality closed out. They closed it out. We're good. We're done. Never gonna get any better. On to the next game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like there would have to be some kind of leak somewhere for that, and the players would have to know, and like all of the players would have to like keep it under wraps. I just find that like hard to believe. But I mean, like you saw how much Vitality dominated in that last split. Like it wasn't even close. Like they didn't even lose until Gamers 8, but that like get knocked, like they didn't win a tournament until Gamers 8, and that's really, after the World Championship hangover, so to speak, like BDS, similar to what BDS had this season. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like they were so convincing in the way that they won. I think that EU was so dominant through most of the season this year that they realized that a change needed to be made, right? Like you couldn't just maintain the same rosters going forward, and that you really needed to change things up. And I think you kind of saw that a little bit with Space Station bringing in Hoxer, who maybe wasn't necessarily what everybody, the most mechanical or amazing player that everyone kind of thought after Daniel left, but the results improved drastically once they brought in Hoxer, who was maybe the best fit for their team as opposed to the best player that they could have gotten. So I think maybe like I said earlier, I think maybe teams will look to do that too, but I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Was Daniel's first team SSG?
I feel like it was. Yeah, Space Station, then Diversion 1.
Okay.
Yeah, he came in and they got second place to NRG in 2022 at the X Games Open, where NRG won the X Games gold medal. And then they won the Spring Regional 2 on version 1 and the Gamers 8 Gamers 8. So
yeah.
But I mean, there's all kinds of rumors swirling around. There's all kinds of players that are available. We're in fantasy football season, American football right now, and this Ace mentioned it before we started recording, but this almost seems like a fantasy draft, right? Like teams and orgs are lining up to say, you know what, we don't have a roster right now. No one's on our roster. Let's just see who we want to grab. But yeah, I mean, I know that there's a lot of orgs that are pulling out of esports in general, or RLCS, because they weren't built correctly and profitably. So I think we'll have to wait and see what happens with org representation and things like that. Like I know in like the Call of Duty League, the European team just pulled out and they relocated to North America. So, I mean, I certainly think there's a lot of opportunity for profitability in Rocket League, but I think people will need to figure that out. But with that being said, kind of a little bit of a thought exercise. We'll talk about this stuff, and then we'll have an episode later this off season about like doing a free agent tier list that AJ, you talked about having an idea for, and that's still a fantastic idea. But as of right now, based on like not doing rankings or anything like that, based on the people who are available, or pretty much basically everybody's free game at this point, other than like Raise Bull and CRR wanting to stay together. What do you think would be the best NA team? Like if you could mix and match and make your own, what do you think would be the best team?
I knew you were going to say that.
I got mine.
Well, all right. So I'm trying to find it. I posted in the Discord and I cannot find it, but I had the lineup and I don't know how to Discord.
You did. You put it.
What
yeah.
was it?
Oh, where are you?
Where are you?
And I'm so sorry.
I'm pretty sure you said First Killer, Justin, and Calm.
Yes, that's right. Thank you.
First Killer, Justin, and Calm.
That would be my team.
Okay.
Well,
mine is Calm, Beast Mode, and Daniel.
I kind of figured that one was coming.
Oh my god, Jay, that sounds really familiar.
And
why don't
do you think they'd
like,
win tournaments?
Make that happen. I could see that. I could see like maybe even like if they had like Saudi government backed tournaments in like say Riyadh or something.
Oh yeah, like one of those tournaments to try and make people forget about all the human rights violations that Saudi Arabia does.
No, sports washing?
Exactly.
No. What? No.
I was wondering if we were ever going to talk about sports washing.
Hey, that could be its own episode, because it certainly has a place in esports right now.
I mean, specifically in esports, yeah. But the other side of that is we're getting Rule 1, and they're freaking awesome. They're killing it. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a symptom of it or just a coincidence. But they are rising to fame, and they're doing very good. But that lineup you just said, I think they could win a Gamers 8 someday.
Yeah, it could be. All right, and then I got another. I got two ready to go. You ready for this one?
Yep, let's hear it.
Could be controversial. Not sure. Whoa, Winnie agrees. Stop. All right, here we go. Are we ready for this?
I think I might know where this is going, but yep, let's hear it.
Torment, squishy, gimmick with Fireburner as coach.
Oh,
Thoughts?
really throwing it back.
I'm super creative with all my lineups here.
Yeah, but
All right, Cube, hit us.
oh man, like I still like part of it is how do you feel about how do we feel about Chicago?
It's all right. Not as good as the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, though.
Yeah, I was about to say, I hear they make good cars. I know that's Detroit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What does Chicago do?
yeah, I don't know. They got some wind.
Beans.
Do you say beans?
Yeah.
They got
the
some
giant
wind.
bean. They do have wind.
Yeah, but
Oh, yeah, the
Windy
Windy City.
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I like how you asked a question, expected any kind of a real answer out of me. Just first day, give him a break.
Yeah, well. But I think a team centered around Chicago would be pretty good. I think Chicago and First Killer could be a pretty good duo, but then you'd need kind of a more, I'd say maybe grounded third. So Garrett G, Chicago, and First Killer. That's what I'll go
Yeah,
with.
I like that lineup.
I don't think that's going to happen. As we've said before, I think that NRG is going to be Garrett, AJ, and Eris. With maybe just a tad of help in that one. But I think that would be a pretty good roster. I am extremely intrigued to see what Complexity does with no AJG. I saw some people on Twitter talking about the fact that, like, man missed an open net so hard he got kicked. That's brutal.
I mean, is it wrong?
No, it's not. Not at all. But that's certainly going to be interesting. But with that same token, leaving Vitality alone because, they're going to stick together, obviously. But what about a EU team that you think would be pretty dominant based on the people that are available and, really the only untouchable being Vitality?
Joyo. Rise. Vatira.
Oh man, he's
Bring
on
it
something
back.
today.
Bring it back.
Yes.
We miss you, moist boys.
Yeah, I would love to see that, but I think that Joyo's gonna stay on Moist, and Carmine
100%.
Corp is looking to build around Vatira, so
Yep. I don't blame 'em.
that's gonna be
But God damn it, I want that team back.
that would be a good one.
That would be.
Let me think. Let's see. We're talking EU. Let's say Monkey Moon, Seiko, and Rise.
Interesting.
I like that you didn't even go for the roster of the best team.
I kept wanting to say apparently Jack, but like that's almost rude. But like he needs to go back there for a season and then come back.
I think him and Chronic are sticking
He'll
as a
do
two.
fine wherever he goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure. All right, who do you want to be their third? Apparently, Jag Chronic. Who's their third?
I've heard some First Killer rumblings.
Yeah,
I could see First Killer.
I feel like
He said he wanted
I feel
to play
like
with
pretty
Jack.
much anybody would be a good third on their team.
Calm.
I was thinking me. Throw me on the pitch with them. Like we'll hard carry.
Oh,
Put
yeah,
me in, coach.
What do you guys think about like a Monkey Moon Vatira team? Like a team centered around those two?
I think
I
if they're
mean-
winning, they're probably going to be one of the best teams.
Is it
But if
French
they're
enough?
losing, then their mentality gets the best of them and they suck.
So I feel like if you put those two together, I think you're right. I think you'd need someone who is like consistent, someone whose mental is not gonna be up and down, someone who can kind of be a steadying force for them. I mean, I don't want to say like I don't want to say like a Jory is, or
Why not?
I just feel like he's been up and down recently. I mean, he had a fantastic Gamers 8, but he did not show up at the World Championships, which is kind of when you want
That's fair.
someone to show up.
I've blocked the World Championships out of my mind. Gamers 8 is the only tournament that exists to me now.
I mean, fair.
I
feel like-
want 2v2 RLCS.
Stop
Oh, yeah.
stealing content
Cool.
that we're about to use in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I did see that. I
Stop
did see
using
that one in there.
content. We're
Yeah.
stealing.
We're just-
You-
we're just
you
giving a
think I
little
can
sneak peek is
read?
all.
No, reading is hard.
Stop stealing content. Wait, I'm now reading.
But
I don't think I see anything about twos.
I definitely pre-read some stuff and it was in there for sure.
but
It's on the next page.
with that being said, with all the roster rumors that are floating around, with all of the things that have been confirmed, all the things that are just people talking on Twitter, when do you think the first domino will fall? Like, do you think there's anybody that's going to make the first move, or do you think it's dependent on when they announce the next season?
What was the question?
Like, I mean, with that, like, seemingly in like past roster window changes, that like like somebody goes to another team, and then that leaves somebody
When all
out,
hell
and then
breaks loose.
yeah, exactly. So, like, when do you think dominoes will start to fall or things set into place, right? Because I imagine, like, once one team gets, like, solidified, it's just going to be a mad scramble
Yeah.
to solidify your team and get the people that you want and, sign up and all that stuff. So, do you think they're waiting on,
But-
like, the season to be announced, or do you think they're just taking their time to find the best options?
This isn't quite an answer to that question, but I actually think, but it made me think about. I think this is a great offseason to be a player, especially a high caliber player. Because
So you could just not get paid for 5 months?
but think about the contract you can negotiate when you can go to any team. If you are,
You could do that
so
anyway.
first domino falls, right? First domino falls. Somebody puts together some incredible team, and then you only have one or two of the S tier pros left. Those two left will have much better offers thrown their way by a team that's trying to basically buy a win for next season. I think this is great for the players. The fact that there's just so much churn right now.
I think it'll be good for overall competitiveness.
Oh, for sure. But do I think there's going to be a domino effect? I don't know. I don't see that. I think what's going to happen is what's happening right now is in the background, everybody's trying out, everybody's running around. We're in like the beginning, we're in like the flirty phase, right, of the dance. And everyone's running around and they're dancing and they're seeing who they like and who they work best with. And at some point, someone's going to call, all right, here's the couples dance, and put on a song, and we're just going to see all the people who have made the deals in the background come out together at the same time. I think it's all going to happen about the same time. I would say probably all the same week. But those decisions are probably going to be made
Same
long
week?
before. Same week.
That's a bold prediction.
I make nothing but.
Hey, I'm
point.
here for it. I mean, I don't think that he's necessarily wrong either. I don't know if we'll hear everything in a week, but like once they announce signups for RLCS, I think that everything
Over a
is going to start.
5-month off season.
I mean, there's not really any incentive to solidify your team earlier.
That's true.
So, but just like everything else, we'll have to wait and see. But for now, we'll jump on to our thoughts on Rocket League as a game and RLCS. The first of which being, is the game stale? Like, how do you guys feel about Rocket League, the game, currently?
Game's been stale for 6 years.
I will agree with that. I don't think we've seen very much change in the game. The biggest change we've really seen is Zen. He's made a big change, but that's not a change that a non-pro player can care about. Like, it's fun. It's fun to watch, but like nothing Zen does is going to have any effect on my ability to play the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're both right. We're all saying something similar, where the game hasn't changed. The only difference is people have pushed the skill ceiling, like the ceiling higher, like on what's possible in the game. But
Yep.
I mean, really, the only thing that I come back to that is changing about the game is a rocket pass every season, some reskinned maps like Neo Tokyo, Hacked, or
Yeah, what was this last map? Where can we all agree that that goes to straight to F on the map tier list that we're gonna do?
what did we
I
just say about
already know
stealing
what the new
content?
map is.
Just another sneak peek is all.
Yeah, we got a map tier list coming too, with some special guests where that it's in the works.
Yeah, stay tuned.
But I mean, Rocket Pass,
Oh,
we
if
got
you
some.
would, if you would tier your list there, AJ, what would you choose?
Oh, tier, no,
Hey,
don't
no,
you-
no, 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 come
no,
on,
no.
come on.
But we got Rocket Pass, we got reskinned maps, we have limited time modes like Gridiron, Spike Rush, Heat Seeker, things like that. Is it enough? Like, do
Was
those
Gridiron
things
the
keep
last
people
new
coming
thing
back?
we got?
I think so.
That can't be true.
I mean, like, not maybe not like the
Maybe.
newest game mode that they introduced, but like that's like the most consistent thing that they always have, like the tournament that they bring
Yeah.
pros and content creators to at the beginning of American football season. So I feel like that's probably got to happen sometime soon. But like, I don't know, like you look at Fortnite, right? And maybe it's a different dev team, maybe they don't get as much support as like a Fortnite does, but they have a creative mode, and Fortnite's like not afraid to completely change and revamp the game every couple of months, and that keeps the pro players invested, as well as quite frankly, it keeps the casual gamer invested, where I think that's kind of where Rocket League is lacking, especially, right? You have your hardcore fan base and gamers that are going to be there through thick and thin because they've put thousands and thousands of hours into this game, but you're not going to bring in or gain any new players just because the game is stale and just reskinned. I mean,
So, from what I'm hearing, is the only way Psyonix gets people to stick around is the sunk cost fallacy. I already got 3,000 hours in this game. I can't leave now.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like Rocket League manages to be my most hated and also my most loved game at the same time. Just
100%.
the satisfaction of hitting a cool shot or getting a nice clip or having a good team play and playing with friends is incredible, but also it's incredibly infuriating at the same time when you can't make the stupid car do what you want the stupid car to do, and the ball doesn't go where you think it should. So I mean, that's certainly where I'm at. Like, I love the game and I continue to play and I coach, and we do this podcast, and a lot of the friends that I've made revolve around Rocket League. So, without the game, my life is vastly, vastly different. But at the same time, like, I think that they could, maybe throw a bone to some of the players and some of the content creators who help continue to make their game popular, right? Like, look at this seamless transition. We'll talk like creative mode, right? Lethamir's been talking about having a creative mode for map making for a long time. Like, he's made some incredible community maps that he puts in the Steam Workshop. But, that's not like people on console can't really access that. It's harder to do on Epic launcher and things like that. But, that I feel like that's something simpler that would, bring people back and reinvigorate some of the interest in the game.
No,
I
agree.
definitely think they have opportunities to reinvigorate the game. But I
But they
kind of
won't
get
do
this
that until a
feeling.
new client comes out.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of feel at this point behind the scenes. If I had to take a hard guess, I would say they are actively working on the new client. They're actively working on Unreal Engine. Was it 5?
Yeah, UE5.
They're all hands on that, and they're just in maintenance mode. And what hitting we're all a bunch of piggy banks at this point. There's paying us every 3 months for some support with a Rocket Pass. We get a low effort reskin. We get low effort seasonal rewards because their primary goal is going to be that new client.
At least they're not
Because
season 4 wheels now.
yeah, I didn't even look at the rewards this season. So if I had to take a guess,
Terrible, it's
that's
just
what's
a boost.
happening, right? And it sucks to be in this phase of a game, but how old's this game? Almost 10 years
8
now?
years.
8 years
Yeah.
old, yep.
Yeah. So for a life cycle of a game, this game's been around a long time. This game has been collecting retirement longer than half of our senators should have been. Sorry. Uh, anyway. But you know what I mean? Like it's amazing that it's as popular as it is, and it only is because it's such a good game and because we have the competitive scene that we do. But everything comes to an end, and I just think that what we're seeing is the slow decline to that point. And it's not the end of Rocket League. I would say it feels more like the end of this version of it. Whether that's a year or 2 years from now, I would be surprised if we get 3 more years. I think everything's just based on that new client. And I'm very hesitant to see what happens. If it's just a new, better looking Rocket League, I'm down with that. But if it's like a new, better version of Rocket League with some sort of new monetization mechanic and some other things, that might be different. But who knows?
Yeah.
I think people have way too high of expectations for UE5. Like, it hasn't even been officially announced yet. And people have all these expectations for when it's going to be released. And I think it's going to be essentially the same thing, maybe one or two extra things like here and there. But I think the real big things like creative mode or whatever you guys were talking about, or Lethemir was talking about, I think that's going to be added like quite a ways down the road. And I feel like a lot of people are going to be very disappointed and probably quit because of it.
Yeah, I mean,
I can see that.
Put the tinfoil hats on for a second. So a lot of speculation has been floating around. We've talked about it a little bit, even on this episode, about the 5-month off season. There has been no date announced for next RLCS season. Could a lack of announcement mean UE5 is kind of incoming? I know a lot of people have been talking about that. I myself am a little skeptical, but what do you guys think?
I doubt it. I don't know. I think within a 5-month release, I think they would have announced something.
I mean, I kind of would have thought the same thing, and like the thing that I don't think a lot of people talk about is if you're updating to a new client, you don't just get to use all the same code, right? So you have to make sure that the game mechanics aren't broken. You have to make sure that some of the things that were probably originally mess ups. Like when they were coding this game, I can't imagine that they ever thought that people would be getting flip resets on the ball, right? So like that's a game mechanic that has been figured out, and people love to see it and allows for some high level mechanics. But you have to make sure that that translates. Chain dashes, wave dashes, all of the high level mechanics that people are using have to be available in the game, and it has to feel like seamless and not different, or you're going to lose a big player base. And so I feel like, AJ, I think you're right. I think that if in a 5-month window, like you'd have to like release it to the pro players at least, a couple months before the season starts, so we can still continue to get the high level of play that we're used to from RLCS.
Well, and that's all really good points to make. Like, so if we have a new client, I mean, what I believe they're doing is if they are doing Unreal Engine 5, then they are rebuilding it from the ground up to make it more maintainable and easier to do things like add brand new content. Because I think that the actual Rocket League was not made in such a way that it's easy to make big changes why we don't see them, right? Um, so I think that they're probably building from scratch, and then they have very hard questions to answer, right? I mean, we have a lot of discovered mechanics, right? We have a lot of discovered gameplay in Rocket League. Um, do they keep that? Do they keep flip resets? Do they keep content that, you know, technically was a bug, but it got so popular it's now part of the meta? And if they do keep it, do they make it a way that is more accessible? I mean, they got some hard questions to answer. So
I disagree. I don't think those are hard questions. Yes, they keep all those mechanics in, and I don't remember what the other one was.
Do they make it more accessible?
So yes.
yeah,
Then
more
no, they
accessible.
don't.
So think about
If it feels different than what Rocket League feels like now, there's going to be a ton of people that quit.
yeah, but if it's the reason that it feels stale or the reason that it's, I use the term tying, but that's not exactly right, right? But the reason why we're not seeing massive amounts of new people come to the game is there isn't anything new. So if they make it more accessible, we might get an entire new generation of Rocket League enthusiasts out there.
I don't think
And I
that's
don't
the
know what
reason.
more accessible would be
It could be a reason,
because,
but I think there's other bigger reasons that we don't see new people.
yeah, I mean, I don't think a prettier version of Rocket League is going to be enough. They're going to have to make some sort of changes.
And I think that's all we're going to get with UE5 at the start is just a prettier Rocket League.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't tend to disagree, especially if they're going to try and, I don't want to say rush it out. I don't know that that's necessarily the right terminology to use there, but like if they're going to try and bring it to market sooner rather than later and capitalize on some of the people that have been asking for UE5 for a while, I think that it will be more bare bones, like you said, AJ. So that's certainly something to look out for. I have no bearing or no information
I really
on whether
hope
or
it
not
shifts
that
with
will happen.
something like creative mode or like something big to keep people's interest, but I just don't think it will. So
Yeah, I just it's gonna be hard to
Yeah.
know, like to do that in such a short amount of time. But AC talked about it before. Stealing
No, I didn't.
content, stealing content. But Gamers 8 was a very big success, viewership wise, gameplay wise, entertainment wise. Do you think a crew battle format of some type should be implemented into RLCS? For those that aren't
Yes.
familiar, like integrating like
No.
1v1s and 2v2s into RLCS.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. Absolutely not.
Absolutely, they should.
Crew battle format, no way. But an
Why?
entirely different league, like pure 2v2 and that's it, absolutely. I'd be down for that. But the crew battle format, I think it works really good for Gamers 8, but I think if RLCS were to implement it, they would just be a copy of Gamers 8.
What's wrong with that?
Well, why would you need two tournaments that are exactly the same?
Why would you need two tournaments at the same time? I mean, we have 3-4 tournaments every season that are the exact same. Why do we need that?
I just think I like the crew thing and I like Gamers 8, but I want Gamers 8 to stay Gamers 8. I don't want it to get muddied up and become, or RLCS to become Gamers 8 Plus or whatever it is, right?
Just do one split crew battle.
So
Well, that's just weird.
I've actually one of my thoughts and my ideas. I think I posted it on Twitter somewhere. But what do you think about instead of doing like the invitational, right? So like keeping the same format, which we don't even know if they will yet, like the 3 splits and all that stuff, but removing the invitational and doing a crew battle format for the last regional in each split and doing open qualifiers and closed qualifiers like they normally do for other events, but making it crew battle format instead of regular.
I don't think it should be the last split. I think it should be either the first or second. Or, assuming they're going with a 3-split season.
Yeah, I guess that's fair because they kind of do weight it like the last regional is worth more points than the first regional. Is like you go through the season. But I don't know. I kind of am a fan of crew battle. I think that it really shows the range of talent and ability of the pro players. So like watching Gamers 8 is awesome to see because you see, Zen playing Rawas in ones on like the world stage. And like while I agree that RLCS is mainly a threes tournament league, whatever you want to classify it as, I think that there still is a place for 1v1 and 2v2 in the pro scene. So while I don't know that they would get funding to do a separate league, I don't hate that idea either. Just kind of seems more
I feel like
accessible.
making it a separate league would like split viewership a lot.
And I think it would dilute the talent pool.
Maybe
of
it
both.
wouldn't.
I mean,
Hard to say.
yeah, but like more Rocket League.
I mean, that's very fair.
True. Can't argue with that.
I don't think any of us are in favor of more Rocket League.
I think you said that wrong.
I 100%
No,
did.
I think
don't-
you said it 100% correctly. Actually, this game's long.
True.
Take two. I don't think any of us would be disappointed to see more Rocket League.
There it is.
First try.
Wow,
I agree.
magic
First
of the
try.
editors.
I'm keeping that in. That's
No, leave that
fantastic.
in. Hell yeah.
That's prime content that you didn't steal.
exactly.
I didn't steal it either. You just took the thing I said and put it in the right place.
Yeah,
Editor.
it's all staying in. Get wrecked.
Wonderful.
Get wrecked. But with that, we
Nope.
want to thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Boost Overball podcast. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, join our Discord, rate us wherever you listen to podcasts. And as always, check out our YouTube, our Twitch, our TikTok. All of those links and more can be found on our website at www.boostoverball.com. And as always, from everyone's favorite Grand Plats and stale game lovers, please remember to choose Boost over Ball.
Thank you for listening to the Boost Overball podcast. Make sure to check out our website, www.boostoverball.com, and rate us wherever you listen to podcasts.